We are awakening together. This is our weekly gathering we hold online. For more information, visit our website, awakening-together.org. We'd love to see you there.
All right. Amazing. Good morning, everyone. Meg. Oh, wow. Yeah. Time. It's been a long time. It's like I never left when I feel this love. It's amazing. It's so good to be with you all. I love my halo light too. It's pretty cool. And I'll just add, I'm actually in southern, the southern state, that part of Florida, and but my temporary appearances of geographics is my story, as I'm living on a sailboat in most of time. So that's just a little update, I'm sure, of the personality that's going to come through after all this time. But let's start out with centering in our purpose here at Awakening Together. So we're an assembly of equals joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self within an appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols. We seek to discern one truth and rest in its embrace. And our core values are five of them. After being given all of the inspiration and information of the verbing feeling of the homily, and we've got the title and all of this, I went, wow, this is just a magnification of core value number 5. How beautiful is that? So thanks, Holy Spirit. Core value number 5, we accept all forms as temporary appearances, permitted through enduring awareness of self. We live this value by honoring all appearances and all experiences while continually reflecting on changeless truth. And now, so let's pray in, bring it all in. Ooh, the multiplicity of all the possibles of me that I don't want to be attached to. It's massive, not emotional, but it's a feeling. So, dear one, as we come here together in this sacred space, and we ask for your guidance on our journey of self-discovery. Help us to understand the illusion of this physical world and to recognize the transience of our individuality and knowledge. Show us the way to greater awareness and understanding as we explore the concept of polarization and why it's necessary for our spiritual growth. And today, may we be open to the wisdom of parables and koans and the barren woman and revelations and all the mighty symbolism and myth. And open up this investigation to the nature of our existence to uncover the source of our consciousness and help us let go of attachment to this world. Lay our pleasures, our limitations aside. Belly up in the face of love. And if this is a duality game, to win, are we losing our cards in the melting influence of love? We offer gratitude for this journey that's brought us to this present moment, and just thank you for showing us the way to truth within ourselves through all these symbols and grace and songs and peopling and godding and whatever interpretations available for now. Thanks for this moment. Amen. Yeah, that's happening. Beautiful. All right. I have asked Audrey to do the reading today of our topic, which is a parable of a barren woman. And today we're just, we're going to be like an exploration of meditation on the I am. The only message that feels like, can can still merge, it can still, it still has that merging possibility. So give me the symbolism today and the scriptures of Revelations and some Nisargadatta. So Audrey, the mic is all yours.
Morning, everybody. First, a quote from Nisargadatta Maharaj. That I am is a concept, is to be understood while the concept is there. Once it merges in the original state, who or what is there who wants to know? The illusory entity has disappeared. The basic reason for all this great cause is that you exist, so find the nature of that. All these acts are done by the child of a barren woman. All these are problems of the consciousness. Find out the root of the consciousness. And moving to our reading today, following the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the New Testament, NTI Revelation chapter 1. The time is at hand. All that you need to accept the truth of you is with you and within you now. The world is an illusion, and so everything you experience as you let go of the world is illusion also. You are not to believe any of it. But helpful symbols will be given to guide you. Remember that they are only symbols. Follow them, realizing you know not where they lead. Do not idolize anything within the world, or any symbol or any thought that is sent to lead you from the world. Hold to them as they are useful, but let them go when their usefulness has passed. You are to keep moving by letting go until you find yourself with nothing left to hold on to. Look and see what you shall see. Know that it comes to you like passing clouds, but it comes on the wings of heaven so that you can let it go. Nothing within the world comes to you for any other purpose. Nothing within the experience of the world is to be held to. It is all given that you may look at it and choose to let it go. I am the Alpha and the Omega, who is and who was and who is to come. Keep this thought within the mind as temptations come to tell you that you are not. Stay firm with your heart in trust and say no to all that is a lie by remembering it is not so. If you do not believe that which is not truth, you shall experience truth. But if you choose to believe the false is the truth about you, you shall experience the false and believe it to be true, and believe it is true. Guidance comes to you for one purpose, and that is to lead you from the world. There may also seem to be another purpose, which is happiness within the world. The two purposes are not the same. Do not be fooled by the similarities in their sound. One purpose leads to death, while the other, most surely, leads to life and knowledge of life. All things within the world are the same. There is nothing special in any of it. Every experience can be used to lead to life, and every experience can also lead to death. This is the double-edged sword of the spiritual path. It may lead you to the life you seek, or it may lead you to stay busy as you work very hard going nowhere. Only you can know what this path is for you. The Christ within is your guide on this muddled and tricky path. By listening only to it shall you find your way. Listen to no other voice as you step carefully with me. Listen only for life, and be aware of temptations, which are but the appealing calls of death. You are not alone. You are never alone. You need but remember your true purpose, and all that you desire for discernment and guidance shall be given you. You will never be asked to take a single step alone, but you must always be willing to take the lead by deciding the purpose and calling it out to us. And we're just going to move back to another quote from Nisargadatta, Maharaj. Sorry. Number 2 quote is, when the impersonal consciousness lets you in on the mystery of its own source, you will know that there is no you or me, but only I, the essential subjectivity that things have no substance, and therefore a phenomenon is the child of a barren woman, and finally that I am intemporarily, I didn't say that right, infinity. Meg, help me out with that word, Reverend Meg. Thank you, everybody.
Beautiful. Perfect. Oh, thanks, Audrey. Thanks, Holy Spirit. Thanks for the projection of me called Regina. I always thank others. Like I don't always do anything. But I thank, in my journey of smashing the other and filling my heart with gratitude and trying to dissolve that image of the personal experience of someone and my body saying it is someone, I really practice like staring in the mirror in my eyeballs and seeing myself as God, or like looking at a picture of somebody and just going, it's me, it's me, it's me. And then I start singing Taylor Swift, I'm the problem, it's me. So welcome to my head. And these spaces, these spaces of sharing truth, sharing the message of truth, it's almost like, I can get the same message of the I am, or this creator, through comedy, through somebody hitting my car, through synchronicities, through talking about it. And I've really attempted in my true aspiration to level the playing field of what feels really good and special, like holding on to my favorite symbols. And so I'll just tell you, I've had this, before we get to the point of this homily, this is what happens. I've had this experience on this spiritual path of this quote that's just showing up everywhere for me. It's like air sometimes that takes my duality and helps me remember. And it's if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. And it's just a big part of my life, like when I went to India and I was like, okay, God, I'm all yours. Take me, I'll sit under the tree. Where's my loincloth? I I got a person. I got a person right after that instead to be with in my solitude, you know. Okay, it doesn't mean what it means, right? And so along the lines of like the spiritual path, it's like, you know, there's time of fasting from the thing that I'm negating, like people, you know. So sometimes as alone, it hasn't been either or, but it's been a percentage of like alone in that solitude, that dedication, that devotion to I am, and just I love group things so much, and I'll never be able to let it go. And so yeah, so like I'd say 70% of my time in aloneness, contemplation, and 30% with people, or some combination of those percentages. So that's where I've been in a way. And but in that missing, you're never not there. So I mean, my otherness has just gotten more interconnected as I ask for aloneness, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful that something in me just lets go of the comprehension of it. So the journey of the homily has been so fun, holding on to something that I handed in on Thursday and just watching me try to hold on to the delivery of this. This is what I'm going to say. And it's a beautiful experience to just have a repetition of something that's going to merge. Like, how is this homily going to come alive for me as I'm teaching what I need to learn? So that language is fun to explore again. So, you know, I also wanted to, you know, honor the electrical pulses that are firing up in our brains as the shift in consciousness is happening. I've had to like recalibrate the emotions, going from emotions and stories to, okay, it's feeling and it's information and it's teachable, to like, it's energy. Where does the brain stop judging what that is? And you know, just honoring that the heart and the brain are making these bridges within me all the time. And sometimes there's been a physical recalibration that I've needed to honor just as much as a mental one. Like, you know, I'm in recovery. So, you know, when I stopped using those things that I was totally possessed by and addicted to, I had to distance myself from them to even feel the possession. And then all of a sudden, you know, this great reality takes away the duality of those things, the great I am. And now I'm like, you know, I don't drink, but I'm crushing grapes and making bottles of wine with people because that's how damn neutral it is, right? So those are so many experiences. So with that being said, you know, back when I said yes to doing the homily, I have loved this parable of the barren woman for some time, and I have no idea why. I don't know if it's you know, because I don't have a child, if it's because on my spiritual path I have actually fasted from all of the relationships that hold any memories to circle back around them to them, and like see mother as just, if she's in my vibrational frequency, she will be relevant. You know, that's an interesting unconditional for my, even to witness my mother go through, but being steadfast in that. And the timing of this homily is so cool, you know, because that circle is just starting to form after like 9 years of the spiritual path. The fast is over and it's going to be something new. New relationships are forming with things that I've not been in relationship to, circles. So I love the poetry introduction today. I have this fun. So I'm a sailor, and I met a sailing pastor. He's like, "Hi, I'm a sailor. I just got in. I'm a reverend." You know, and he gave me this book called "Love Poems from God." And there's Rumi and Hafiz and Kabir and Rabia and Saint Francis, and there's one by this fellow called Tukaman, and he's like a little bit of a comedian with like some Sufi in him. So he has this poem, and he goes, and it's called a koan. So a koan is like a Zen Buddhist antidote that has a paradox in it that's supposed to like induce enlightenment or, transcend logical thinking. You guys know what I'm talking about. So he has this poem. He goes, no one was cracking the koans. He goes, no one was cracking the koans. He had tattooed everywhere. So God changed his tactics. He developed a sweet tooth and started chatting about love. He knew that really would not work. And sure enough, things got worse for a fine, rebellious bunch we are. This time, people started stockpiling nukes and lawsuits, plagued the land, and smog put a full Nelson on our lungs. And TV hijacked brains, which caused millions to vote. Wow. And all because we couldn't bust a couple of koans. Mm. And, so these moments, as I was listening to Audrey read, I'm like, whoa, sounds like some serious stuff. And like, and the direct intensity of like, our cigar smoking friend, Nisargadatta, who's like brutal with the truth. And, I feel that intensity on the inside, but man, there's this demonstration of this work on the outside that is like very light. This work that of uncovering our truth is just so innate. It's blowing my mind, the specialty of what I think awakening was on the journey just keeps getting smaller and smaller and more ordinary. And so the barren woman, Nisargadatta is like, his story was something like, whenever he does these talks, he often, says to the group, don't chit chat about your stuff while we're here to talk about this. He goes, there you are talking about the wedding ceremony for the orphaned child of the barren woman. And it's just great. Like, I love that my emotional insides are being trained that way, right? Like, I got sideswiped by a car the other day, and I just like looked out the window, like, wow, like, whoo, ah. And then there was just like, oh, there's so many levels of it's almost like I had Dr. David Hawkins' emotional scale come in, and I was like, okay, I can have this reaction. Check. No, nope. Despair is not helpful. And then I like went up, and it was this whole encompassing moment of review, life review for the millions of versions that I could be right now. And emotions usually hijack the person without some mind training, right? So it's, that pause, and almost like the pause almost had legs. The pause had legs. The pause took me to a place of just not being emotionally charged. So what? Enlightenment is just these moments and moments of enlightening the moment. What experience do I truly want to have? So I love this parable so much that one night I went to sleep. I was listening to like binaural beats of theta brain waves, right? Get me in the spot where God's keeping his private stash of spirituality. Get me there. And so I woke up in the morning, and I look at my YouTube autoplay thing, and there's this only one song afterwards, and it was called Lightning Crashes by Live, the band Live. I was like, is it live or live? Doesn't matter. And And I was like, wow, I don't think I've heard that song before. And I listened to this song and I was like, oh my God, it's a parable of a barren woman in a song. I go, all right, fine, God, I'll do the topic. Well, wouldn't you know, I have tried to find every other topic that I was supposed to do. It's been fun. So, I mean, there's still brain juice going on that's just making fun of me and my guidance system all the time. You know, I'm comfortable with it a little more today. So, you know, that's just the emotional guidance system of learning that judge, not even because what I got really good at was taking the symbols of the world and then or of intuition and then making a worldly stance out of it, right? And oh, it means that this was going to happen and this and this and this, or well, God was supposed to teach me that you know, getting hit by this car, you know, and the processor of that is in this phase of letting go. I think you know what I'm talking about. So that's part of something. Let me get to Revelations and then circle back around where you know, the emphasis of symbols that it's going to be like there's nothing wrong here. Like sometimes I feel like you know, the intensity and the arrogance that arrogant, I don't even know if that word's right, but the directness of truth, you know, I always try to bring levity to it. There's this other dual quote that's been standing out to me, like truth without love is brutality, but love without truth is hypocrisy. And so like in Revelations right now, it says this passage I said this, I wrote this, wait. The passage emphasizes that symbols may be helpful in guiding one's journey, but they are still only symbols and should not be idolized. So, you know, like with a quote like that, it's almost like that song. It's like given, it's given. And the thinking is just like so nicely getting off my back. And because that thinker has that emotion, it like steals energy and it says, this is an emotional story. You better follow me. And you know, the fun thing about my sister coming back around in my life, because I realized like, wow, we never really had a relationship. We had survival mode bondage. And like, no wonder we have not had a relationship. And my mama's over here going, I need you two to have a relationship. and I'm waiting for the you know, it's like I don't have a thought about it. I'm waiting for there's nothing that's going to show up in my life that's going to be for the world. The end. Like my discernment for truth is so strong within me that if that relationship's not relevant for the awakening, then it won't enter, you know, like I'm not in that forceful mode. And that's been hard to read. And also like, because I'm a victim of supposed tos, right? Like the supposed tos are my God. Like I had an altar of supposed tos, and the plucking out of that belief in my world has been massive. So I've almost had to do some really like hard opposite things just to get rid of a belief. And sometimes it looks rude and ugly, and sometimes it's to circle back around just so there's balance. I'm like, hey, that's just how it had to happen. And so anyway, these attachments, they're useful. It's even like my journey with prayer. Oh my gosh. Every morning it was just like, God, I was begging God to be in me. And I know how important this journey was. I mean, God, I think Jacqueline listened to me 2 years, just like be this like a T.S. Eliot of devotion, like, oh God, please take my aching soul and these thoughts. And how beautiful that like love story is, right? And so my guy Nisargadatta, my experience with truth, this revelations, the synchronicity. So So I've decided, in decision making, it's really helpful to just have one singleness of purpose, right? And it's like that source code of I am always has an idea of why the I am is the I am. That thin veil after the first principle of God and the second principle and the third, and you kind of sneak some manifestation up there and you're like, I know. And but there's this innate feeling in me, well, one, like forgetting is just so temporary. Like the mind of forgetting is so not real. It, remembering is just like, oh, well, direct experience, duh. And so I come into incarnation. I'm completely bolstered without any possibility of being abandoned or isolated, but I also believe in guilt just as much. So I have this very solid, sturdy guidance system, and I'm removing the boulders to that. So the guidance system is this ordinary thing like breathing. And so it's up to me to create this structure in which I feel comfortable as a person for receiving this guidance. And that was kind of given to me as like a permission slip to co-create like as God, get these supposed to's out of the way, and really feel that alignment of my own message, right? And describing it to people, it's always going to be seen as the description is happening in the world. So there's a lot to keep quiet about. Not here, and obviously, but not being here also didn't want to become like an echo chamber and isolate myself from the world, right? I just want to be a demonstration of what I do without saying it. So I've like fully embraced these true aspirations in all of these years and awakening together, meaning like any singleness of purpose, any true aspiration that I set up, kind of like how these homilies have worked. I don't come to the rooms every day on that basis. I go to 12-step rooms in that way, and I become like a very level playing field bozo on the bus where there is no possibility of hierarchy, because any taste of hierarchy in my mind like idolizes special. I don't have that. I want that. This is yours. So I needed a break from otherness that way. So these big doses of true aspirations in these homilies have been like profound ways of teaching what I'm asking myself to learn. So, my journey of like true aspirations, I was like, I want truth above all else. I don't want anything else. And then all of a sudden I still want things. So I'm like, I need a smaller version of something that's tangible. It's like trying to take a 3-point shot from half court and just like you never took a shot before, so it's actually too far out for you to get. And so the discouragement of not even practicing small shots, like I can talk myself out of something. So yeah, truth is too big. I still am calling that person a jerk a lot, so there was lots of room to have these subcategories. And so, in the beginning, or one of my middle ones was, I want to be vibrational awareness instead of conceptual thinking. And I was so steadfast in this that the disorientation of it was actually more alarming. and I went through this confusion phase where I was asking, the concept mind to still interpret the vibrational sequencing. And this is where I discovered that the split is still happening in every symbol, even the helpful ones. This is where my revelation was revelating, in the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the super cool Testament, the New Testament. The Christ within is your guide on this muddled and tricky path. path. Listen only for life and be aware of temptations, which are but appealing calls of death. So it's not like these symbol. It's almost like the symbols could become death-like, and I could feel when that happened. Like in program, we say like the cucumber turned into a pickle, and you can never go back to a cucumber. And so I have all these orphans out here, not plugged into the motherboard, because now they're tasks I do instead of intuitive synchronicity. So the journey up Hawkins scale is, the person has a lot to say about it. So I borrowed a god when I didn't have one, from this fella, and he said, I don't know what God is, which is also when I introduced, like, I don't know, the big mystery. Love says I'm everything and wisdom says I'm nothing. Okay, I got that, God, sure. And so I borrowed this god. This fellow goes, I don't know what God is, but I know its existence within me because of these synchronicities showing up in my life, and that's just the softer way of reading the world. And so the coincidences in my life have been just overwhelming. Like you want to read into them, right? So these started to feel like a shock to the system, and like, oh, is this how it's going to be? Is this how it's going to be? And now it's much like walking. Like, I trust that people are exactly where they need to be, who they need to be with at the right time. There's this automatic thing. And but even the silliest stuff, like I was driving down to Florida, and I stopped in North Carolina, and I had a night in a hotel room, and I woke up and I started driving. I was like, wow, I had cats in my dream. I had so many cats. I don't have pets. I'm getting off the karma wheel, God. Like, don't give me things to be attached to on a daily basis. I know that sounds arrogant. It might dissolve. It might. But so anyway, welcome to my head. So I'm like, I have cats. I call my friend. I'm like, I had cats in my dream, and I'm not getting a pet, all this stuff. And then I arrive in Florida, and there is like cat colony. There's a total, there's a cat, a black cat, who sits on my roof every day. There's a cat that hangs up in the tree, and those things like felt special, and it just feels like really ordinary, like thinking used to feel like, and supposed to. And so the dissolving of the ego. Guys, I wrote so much. I wanted to end with well, one of those other poems where it says, by the Tukaman, he goes, and it's called Certainty. And this has to do with the certainty of how helpful phenomena seems to be at the time, and it could actually switch meaning for you in life, and then just give you this opportunity to be like, I am not this. Wow. Really? Stuff like that just invokes the direct experience. So I have a poem and then a personal experience. So the poem is Certainty. And I'm certain I need a drink of water. So certainty undermines one's power and turns happiness into a long shot. Certainty confines. Dears, there is nothing in your life that will not change, especially all your ideas of God. Look what the insanity of righteous knowledge can do. Crusade and maimed thousands in wanting to convert that which is already gold into gold. Certainty can become an illness that creates hate and greed. God once said to Tuka, even I am ever changing. I am ever beyond myself. What I may have once put my seal upon may no longer be the greatest truth. And my story with this is, how God's just working in my life to open me up to just growing and progressing, because resting on your laurels and becoming complacent can really zap the love out of living. So the soul is always asking for this expansion through polarity until you know that all your cards in this poker game are going to face up for love, right? So comfortable with the polarity, right? So my certainty on, like, I am what I eat. I know my diet. I'm vegetarian, vegan since I was 13, had the prompt that meat is not good for my body. This whole thing. And not like mean towards anybody who didn't eat like me, like didn't ever feel that. And always had this thing, like, if my body ever told me, because like I was smarter than my let go for a while, right? I had all of the Barnes and Noble self-help section before I even knew what God felt like. so like, I get this prompt, like, if my body ever tells me that I need meat, I'll eat it, right? So just like a few years ago, I get these like inner prompts, right? Now I have this book that I've had for maybe 5 years or so called Eat Right for Your Blood Type. This is a very huge, illuminating thing in my life that just shook my world recently. So I have this book for 5 years. This is how strong-willed I am about my I am. I open the book not knowing my blood type, read the blood type that I have been living, and just decide that that's me. Like, wow, like that is some powerful belief system. And like, ignorance is bliss just reversed, right? Like, knock yourself out. You can do whatever you want. You are so free to do whatever you want. And actually, if you believe it hard enough, it might work out pretty well for you until maybe it's done. Like, maybe this has been super right for a really long time, for a while. And then, like the poem says, I'm going to take my seal and call it God and put it over here. And I might put it over here in a minute. Because if we saw what God was, our personhood would be so offended. I feel that. I feel that on such a deep level that my personhood would be offended of the image of God because it came into the world. Hello, right? So, blood type. I'll wrap it up. So yeah, I'm like, believing this blood type according to the lifestyle. It's almost like, imagine if I had blue eyes, but I was colorblind, and every time I looked in the mirror, I just was like, I have gray eyes. This is kind of what this experience is like. So anyway, I get crazy sick from like this sunstroke maybe a month and a half ago. I mean, knocked out, all the symptoms of like any flu that you could imagine, right? And then, so I'm in this recovery mode of like, whoa. And then I'm completely knocked out, even sicker. And I'm like, all right, God, I'm not the pain body. What do you got in store for me? I know how to think about this. And why is this good for me? And all the trainings coming up, and I'm like, I can heal myself. I am like the master machine of the universe, and billions of light years away, and time does not actually exist. Have the direct experience, go there, the manifestation will take care of itself. And like, it doesn't feel like it's right. And I go, oh God, you really want me to be sick? I need to be sick. All right, well, what do we have to do here? And I fast. I'm in this fasting mode now that wouldn't have happened if I had gotten better. I'm like, all right, so we're fasting. I lose all sense of any senses, which is great, like sensory deprivation. Here we go. And in this, I get this prompt to find out my blood type. And I'm just a blood type that's completely opposite of the way I've been living, And it's amazing. I feel like so freaking amazing following the blueprint of what my blood actually is. Who knew that there were things that I was eating based on craving, memory, supposed to, I am this. Don't veer off from being that. And there's this intuitive blood flowing in me that's desiring for me to pick up what's going to be most optimal for me to function. And it was right. It was right. So I don't know the order in which things are going to appear, but my openness is like really lit up. I mean, I could be really pissed off in another version of a reality of me, which is always available. Like there's only a million trillion different possibilities of versions of me that are going to exist. And it's up to me which ones I want to be in concrete form with, right? Kind of up to me, but not up to me. You know how that works. So yeah, I'm like eating some red meat a few times a week. Some foods that I was eating on a daily basis were actually poisonous for me and caused these symptoms that I was trying to like take away these symptoms by taking away those symptoms, not by getting to the root. So, it's just a root cause discovery of going back to source and honoring that, sometimes I really do have to fast from the world to get that experience to see my Father, as Jesus would say, right? So yeah, I've been honoring that, having an optimal experience with the reality of my understanding, and not rendered lily white, but very, very confident that you're just another me. And my perception's going to reflect that. And I just have to be face up in unconditional love and trust that I'm going to demonstrate a version of that mirroring the consciousness of who's out in front of me, right? That's a lot. That's a lot, huh? It's so beautiful. It's a lot. It's not a lot. It's simple. It never happened. And I'm just grateful to be on this sojourn with like-minded individuals at this moment, and thank this place of this sanctuary, which has provided the stimulation for my mind, to use my mind, to get out of my mind, to drop it, to take it back, to laugh about it, to cry about it. And yeah, I'm an orphan mother. No, I don't know. It was fun doing the parable with you. And thanks again, Audrey, for reading. So this is the moment where we close with a song, the song that was part of my guidance system, that said, you love this. Who cares what anyone else thinks about it? Just do it. Lightning crashes. So thank you, everybody, for being in that tune with me. And remember, awakening together is our primary form of income is donation. So if your guidance feels called to donate, awakening-together.org/donate and sign also as a link on the board. So this is the last 3 minutes to open your mics if you'd like to share. Hi, Jacqueline.
Hi, Meg. That was awesome. Thank you so much, including the last song that I wasn't familiar with. Awesome. You said several times during your talk, welcome to my mind, which was adorable. But really what you did was you welcomed us into your heart. And by sharing your processes, whatever, with us, really, really beautiful. You talked about your guidance system becoming an ordinary thing like breathing, and how you turn to that instead of remaining a victim of supposed tos. And again, you demonstrated that so beautifully. In fact, you said, I just want to be a demonstration, and you are a demonstration for us all. And I'm just blown away by everything that you shared with us today, as that demonstration. One more thing and I haven't said anything, but it doesn't matter. One more thing that I want to share is, you said, I want to be vibrational awareness instead of conceptual thinking. I mean, that's where the rubber hits the road, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. And again, you are a demonstration of that Thank you for sharing yourself with us. Thank you for sharing your heart.
Thanks, Jacqueline. And yourselves would be just totally fine also.
I think Regina has her hand up.
Regina does. Thanks for noticing. I'm outside and I don't know how to do the mechanical on the phone, but I've been listening on the radio while walking the dog. Let me see if I can keep my face in the frame. I'll keep it short. I loved all of it, Meg. But there was one thing you said that was so friggin' profound. I just want to come back and repeat it so it doesn't get lost in all the other words. You said that forgetting is not real. Remembering is a direct experience. Like, oh my God. That's something you can feel. There's nothing intellectual in that. And in fact, if people just feel into those words and notice the difference between forgetting, which sometimes can seem like everyday life, and remembering, which might most be touched in those profound moments of contemplation or meditation. And then, kind of contrast the two. And remember what you said, forgetting is not real. Remembering is a direct experience. You can feel that. You can feel the not real in the forgetting. And you can feel the real in the direct experience of remembering. I mean, oh my God, it was so profound. I just had to come back and say it again. So thanks, Meg, for everything. Love you. Bye.
Thanks for hearing what came through. That was awesome.
Been watching our online gathering. It happens weekly on Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. To join us live in the sanctuary, visit our website, awakening-together.org. You'll want to click on Online Sanctuary in the main menu, and then in the drop-down menu, look for How to Enter the Sanctuary. Right there at the top of the page is a clickable link. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary and join with you in fellowship. Thank you again for watching. Also, please know that if you'd like to stay connected via the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube, you can subscribe and hit the bell for more notifications. We hope to see you in the sanctuary.